Ed?
Thank you, Sean. Thank God I have Sean. He's a master.
Oops, somebody muted you, Joe.
Joe,
Joe,
you're
can you,
muted. Joe, you're
Art
muted.
or Joe unmute you? Somebody muted you there. Still muted.
Joe.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, now.
And you
Oh,
can turn
thank
up that-
God. Can you see me?
Yes.
Okay, that's even worse. So, again, Joe Fontesha here, trying to get you guys to have some fun in an afternoon without having an audience. But you all look so great. I'm glad you dressed up for this special class today. I went to the hairdresser and got new clothes for this. I always love an audience that does that. So thank you. Incidentally, this is a shop regarding a virtual shop regarding a few of our models called the EY series. These are some of the very, very, very difficult models now to get a hold of. I have in front of me right now the Journey, which is a EY 320. There's a Fanfare, there's a Journey, there's an Inspirer, and a Rialto. And for me to cover what we call features and benefits, it's kind of difficult when you have one instrument. So I thought today I would give you a path that would kind of make it more understanding of how we built the instruments going up from here. So I'm going to go back in time a little bit because we have the word we use a lot is called signature arrangements or signature backgrounds. There's a reason that this happened, so I thought I'd give you a little history of this. Way back in the 50s and 60s, we only had AM radio. We did not have FM. And AM radio insists that any of the recordings that were done had to be 3 minutes or less. And at that time, hundreds of records were coming out, and the DJs and all this did not hear every one of them. So what they would do is listen to the first 4, 8, 12 measures, and if it caught their attention, they would then play it or get it published. So this is why many of the songs of that time period, when you hear them on radio, I'm sure you all have done it, saying, oh, I know that song, just by the first few notes or the first few measures. In fact, a TV series came out called Name That Tune, and I can name that song in 1, 2, 3, 4 notes. So they all came up with very unique introductions. The only entertainer at that time that didn't like it was Elvis. He wanted his voice heard first. So when you hear a lot of Elvis's stuff, he started with his voice. But most of the songs had an introduction that you knew what they were. So I'm going to play a number right now that's probably not done too often. But you'll know when you hear the introduction almost what song it is. And then I'll get back on here. So I hope you enjoy it.
Woo.
All right.
Well
That was a song called Mr. Sandman. And as you heard, almost you could tell what song that was when I started it. Now, getting back to what I was talking about the songs of the 50s and 60s, they only were entitled to have the record run 3 minutes or less. You know, when it happened, why it changed, and I bet many of you don't know this, is when FM radio came out. FM radio had no rules, and they had a new frequency. So when FM came out, they started to play records a lot longer in time. And that's why, in a short period of time, would you believe it? I looked this up, that the FM, in a side of less than 10 years, became 50% of the listening audience on radio. And then, 10 years later, 70%. In the 80s, 70% of the people were listening to FM radio because songs were able to be played a lot longer. One of the longest songs, and this is quite interesting, that FM played was a song called In the Garden da Vida. It ran 17 minutes. And then you had Lila, you had Stairway to the Stars, you had Bohemian Rhapsody, and American Pie was the trendsetter too. So these songs, incidentally, all had very, very good signature introductions. Now, what is a signature arrangement? And let's understand, for all of the models that we have, you have signature styles and arrangements. Some of them are with the exact title of the song. Some of them have a kind of a hidden way. Now, the reason for that, Lowry paid royalties to the ones that the titles were exactly the same as what you see in your instrument. Now, the one that I played, for those of you on any of your models, if you want to look it up, it's under San E Man. San E Man. And it's really, the song title is Mr. Sandman, okay? Now, I have 3 songs that I have picked, which gives you some arrangements that you can play on any of the models. Now, remember, if the title is exactly of the name, like Gentle on My Mind, if it says Gentle on My Mind, you have a signature style arrangement exactly like the record. If it says a gentle mind, it's not exactly, but it's close. So what you want to do is get with your PAs. Every one of you should do this who's on this. Get a list of the songs titles that you think are signature and ones that aren't, and some of them will sneak up on you, okay? So you won't know unless it says exactly. Now, how that was done is you change a few notes. You might have the note that's supposed to be a D, you might put a G in, or you have an F and you might put an A in. But when it was copyrighted, you had to play it exactly the same, okay, as the record, and you paid royalties to that. When I was, this is just a sidebar for that story. When I was in my early years, I signed a contract with George Liberace, which was Liberace's brother. And he had a publishing company. And he said, you're going to write songs. for me. So I signed, and royalties were going to be divided 50%, which means if it became a hit, he would be entitled to 50% of the royalties. So he recorded these on his album, and they all had to be, at that time, less than 3 minutes of time for the records. So of course I was never did get a hit, but at least I tried, and but that's what it was. So these songs never, but the copyrights on a song last 25 years. So my songs, I had to renew them after 25 years, otherwise somebody could take them and actually record it exactly how I wrote it, and the royalties would go to them. So a copyright goes for 25 years. Okay, so a little sidebar on that. So I put together 3 songs, and the first one we're going to do is going to be called "There's a Kind of a Hush." Now, why I picked this is because in your song setup, it'll say "kinda hush pop." If your song is written and it says "there's a kind of a hush," you have the exact signature arrangement. So in your instruments, look it up and see if it does. If it says "kinda hush pop," you got close with the arrangement, and we did not have to pay royalties. Okay, so you, Sean, can you put that song up for everybody for me? Now you will get copies of this if you like, and there's 2 pages, which is good. I hate songs that are 3 pages. And you probably can't read it, but on the bottom it says "for educational purpose only." Because guess what I'd have to do if I'm using this and was going to sell this? I would have to pay royalties on this. But we're using this for teaching purposes only. So it says "for educational purpose only," not for sale. So everything that I put up will always have that, and it's on the bottom left or the bottom right of the song. Okay? So now I got a kind of a hush, and I'm just going to have you listen to the introduction. If you know this song, the introduction is pretty well, I would know this song if I heard it, okay? That's the intro of the song, okay? So I'm going to put it on one more time, "Kind of a Hush." And here's the introduction, and I'm going to play it for you, and then we'll learn about something about what happens with signature arrangements, okay? pretty cool arrangement. Now, if you were watching, I'm really playing single note chords and melody note. This is another thing about signature arrangements, folks. The more you have, the less you have to do. Because the signature arrangement that's put in, the fill-ins, the extra notes are all going to be in the background of the song, okay? So I'm actually going to put that on one more time, and I'm just going to play the chords, and I want you to listen to the arrangement that's happening because they've copied a lot of the original arrangement of it. This is pretty cool. You hear all the different arrangements now. Isn't that pretty cool? I'm just playing single chords. So for those of you that say, gee, I can never play that, and what's he's doing all, that's what a signature arrangement is so cool about. The more of them you have, the less you have to play. Now, if you look at that song again, I want, if Sean can put up the first page of it for me one more time. There's a kind of a hush. There's a couple things about it. You have an introduction, and then you get to a part on the 1, 2, 3, 4th line, and those notes there, I kind of squiggled it a little bit. It says lower. You would play those on the lower keyboard, just those notes, okay? Now then jump over to page 2, and page 2, on the 2nd line, it says alter style. What happens when you put alter style, you might have heard what happens with that. You had a little special arrangement. So it adds a special arrangement that's in the original arrangement. Then as you play on down, it says FX. When you put the FX, when signature arrangements are really unique also for the second part, your fill-ins or FX will have an entirely new arrangement. That's pretty cool. So when you put it down, it says to hold it. Now I'm on the journey here, and of course for me to hold my foot in is kind of difficult. So we have pedal magic here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit pedal magic and put it on fill. That's not the name, fill or FX. So when I get it to it, see, I'm holding the foot down, and I don't have. I am putting my foot down on the expression on the pedals down here because the instrument will do that. So if you could put the fill in the pedals, makes it much easier for those that you have to hold for a long period of time. You could just leave your foot on there. So this arrangement is pretty cool, where you go just play it as it is, play where it says lower notes on the lower keyboard. I don't care whether you have the Rialto, you have the Inspire, you have the Journey or the Fanfare. This will work for it if you have the title kind of a hush. Now that's the problem with some of these. If you were to say, gee, I have only Latin beat, well, you can play with it, but it's just not going to sound exactly like the arrangement. So the more signature arrangements you have, the more you can do the original songs exactly like they were. Okay? So that is kind of a hush. And I love that arrangement. I hope you do, because I thought that was pretty cool. Now my favorite, I just saw the history of Jim Morrison. And we're going to be doing Light My Fire. Light My Fire. Again, if you have the words "Light My Fire," you will almost have exactly the same arrangement as was done. And this is pretty cool. And I have this, and it says "Light My Fire." And now, I will tell you, you will start this song with an A chord. Even though, don't start it with an A minor chord. You start this song with an A chord, the one that I have, okay? It says A minor, but you want to start it with, so, now, in that time period, many of the beginner bands could not afford the Hammond B3 organ sound. So they came up with an instrument, either a Vox or a Farfisa, that had, what we call it, you'll see it, some of you might have it, it's called 60 organ. And it sounds like this. We used to call it a tinny organ sound, but Light My Fire, he used it originally in the introduction, and he made it famous in the Doors, that kind of sound. So I'm going to play it for you. It's I got Light My Fire, intro, that's all I put on, and I'm ready to go. So and then I'll explain the song. Again, it's for educational purpose only. Man in his late 70s playing that kind of music, I don't know, boy. I tell you, boy, that's pretty cool. Incidentally, if Sean, did you put up "Light My Fire"?
I can do that.
And especially put up the last page, page 3. There, page 3 is what I want. Okay. If you look at the last 2 lines of the song, it goes G, it goes very fast, it goes to a D chord, an F, B flat. That's the original introduction. You do not have to play that. So you would end the song, and why I say that is because it's not easy to play. So to learn that, you'll be playing it forever. So listen to the song one more time. Listen to the intro, and you'll see that the intro is what you see there. So here it is, okay? So you see, you don't have to play that because it's a signature arrangement. It does it for you. You don't have to sit there and suffer. So that's pretty cool. Do you like that? Okay, I know I got some questions on there before I go on because I get all excited with this stuff. This is really good. Sean, is there any questions out there that people have?
We had a question in the chat thing. Do you know where there's a kind of hush style is on the Journey? Isn't it in the Latin button?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know which one? Latin guitarist or
Right.
something like that? Or
You
pianist?
have to hunt down these guys a little bit, check it out, because now the fanfare had a lot of hidden arrangements. So there's a sheet there, and you because it won't show up in your rhythms. So that's why they brought out the Journey, so that those particular hidden rhythms will appear so that you can see what it's doing. So that's one of the things and then of course we went into the Inspire where you were able to download and save those on a USB, and then the Rialto took many great new signature arrangements. I don't have one here for you guys, but I'm trying to give you just an idea of when you have a signature arrangement, you do not have to play a lot of things with it. Let the arrangement enhance it. I hope you're enjoying this. I just kind of picked 3 songs. There's about 40 that I could have used. So any other questions?
Here we have a question from Bev. Go ahead, Bev.
Hey, Joe, you mentioned at the beginning of Light My Fire, you start with an A chord instead of as it's written. Is that the only time you change to the A chord, or the others all played as written?
Well, the song, the reason is my ear hears it like the record was originally, okay? So you could use an A minor or you could use an A. If you listen to it, you can decide. It won't change the way the music is played, okay? So again, your ear. We're going to get to another song that's really the last one is almost about introductions being strange to what you normally are accustomed. For those should know, usually the introduction comes from the last chord of the song. If it's C, you start with a C to get your intro. If it's F, you play F. If the intro of the song is in the key of G and the last chord is G, you play G. But some songs change. For example, Unforgettable starts in, I think, G and ends in C. So you gotta really let your ear tell you which one you like, okay? So in this case here, I like the A chord for that introduction. Some people like the A minor for the introduction, okay?
Okay, great, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, we got a question from Mercedes. Go ahead, Mercedes. Oh, looks
Hi.
like you're muted. Go ahead and unmute on there. It should ask you.
I'm good at reading lips, but
Can you hear me now?
you
We
all
can hear you.
perfect.
No, you can't hear me now.
Yes, we can.
You can hear me now. Joe, when you're playing with a signature style, do you add any presets or setups to it?
No, I'm not doing any of that because really right now that's a different class about how to change a lot of it. I'm using only fill-ins and upper keyboard and lower keyboard.
Okay, thank you.
Now, in the song, of course, you can do that, but I like that 60s organ sound and I like the original. Of course, I'm only playing the song once through. To answer your question, if I'm going to repeat some parts, which I didn't do, then I would change registrations with a preset.
Okay, thank you.
Okay? Any other ones? That's pretty good. I hope you guys are enjoying this. This is a little different than just picking a button and mention it. So I'm really talking about the signature arrangements that you have in all the different models, and again, what they do for you and how you should play along with them. So let's go through it. First of all, is a signature arrangement is an arrangement that's exactly like the original recording. If the song title you have is exactly what it is, It should be exactly like, and that's a copyrighted song. If it's slightly changed in the wording that we use in the telling you about it, then it's almost identical, but there's some changes in it, which was mean we didn't have to pay copyrights for that. Okay, you can change notes around. Usually the arrangement that's done, you don't have to add a lot of extra notes. You play a single note, you play a simple chord, but watch for the fill-ins or the FX, because they'll change the song around quite a bit. Also, alter style is the other one that's used to change some of the arrangements. So those are the basics of it, okay? Now the last one is really quite interesting. So I'm gonna go to the last song for us. I really wanted to go to O Solo Mio, but if we have time, I will. But I had to do this next one. I really don't like this song, but the introduction and everything about it is everything about it is exactly like the record. Now, what's cool about this song is the song ends. If you, Sean, could you put it up for us? Sweet Home Alabama. Does he have it? The last chord in this song is F. But if you listen to the introduction is the first three chords of the song. And that really makes it quite good. The introduction is C, B flat, F. C, B flat, F. And so I want to hear, so if I hit the C intro on this is really a strange one. And again, you almost have to, so I'm going to have you hear it before I get just the introduction. If you don't know the song, it only has three chords, C, B flat, and F. And everybody together that's at home right now watching this, I want all of us to learn the whole song. Are you ready? Together. The first chord is C. The second chord is B flat. The third chord is F. Let's repeat it one more time. C.
C.
B flat, F. You know all the chords of Sweet Home Alabama. See, am I a great teacher or what? I mean, all right, one more time. I don't want to make sure anybody forgets. Here we go. C, B flat, F. Beautiful. All right. Isn't that fun? All right, here we go. I put it on. I've got Sweet Home. Sweet Home, almost identical. But now let's listen to it. Now, Art, can you get to show my left hand on this song? I want everybody to see the left hand on this song, because what are the chords of the song, everybody? C, B flat, F. So here we go. I want you to watch. I could take somebody with one lesson, give them, and they can learn this song to play the chords. Unbelievable. Watch. I hope everybody saw that. Man, I studied 25 years of music training, and I just did all of that with one stinking finger. I hate it. I hate it. All the years of study, and all of that music came out with this one finger playing C, B flat, and F. So do have fun with that. And any of the models that I just talked about, from the Fanfare, the Journey, the Inspire, and the Rialto, you can do that. So I mean, you can, it's the song Sweet Home Alabama, and I didn't do anything fancy with it. And you can play the upper keyboard or the lower keyboard. If you're going to repeat it, you can change your registrations. So I hope you guys had fun with all that I've been showing you, and I wanted to make sure you understand about signature arrangements and about how it happened, and what was the time period of the changes when FM radio came in, where we could have songs a lot longer. That's how come these songs that we have, I had to choose a few of them that were kind of different than what we've done before. So again, Joe Fontesha, and I hope you've enjoyed it. And Sean, any other questions before? And I know you got a couple of announcements.
I don't see any questions. Anybody have anything? Questions or concerns or anything? All right. Well, I will, let's see. All right, just a couple of announcements, really small. I just want to make sure everybody, if you we're not on your mailing list, or if you're not on our mailing list, make sure we get your email address. We can give you updates. And keep in mind, for those of you who are getting those emails, you notice today we had you go to the website, right, to log into this class, because we want to get you used to doing that, because we're going to start doing it more and more, so we don't have to send you emails every day. Hopefully we can get into the habit of just whenever you know you got a class, just go to the website, get on it, and we'll send maybe a weekly newsletter of what we got coming up for that week. That's what we're trying to do, but it's kind of difficult. So otherwise, just make sure you know we do our regular variety classes every Wednesday and Thursday, 11 o'clock Arizona time, 2 p.m. Florida time or Eastern time. If you're somewhere in between, just look into that. Just know that it's 2 p.m. Eastern, Wednesdays or Thursdays. It's the same class. This week, we have one of my all-time favorite people. I'll be helping him out. This is his first class. His name is Bart Jensen, and he's going to be featured here from Mesa, Arizona. So don't miss it. He's going to be teaching you how to play by ear, kind of for beginners. This is for anybody. Anybody can do this, all skill levels. I'm excited for it. So I'm going to have Joe play us a song on our way out. If you have any questions, please let us know. Like I said, make sure we have your email address if you're not already on our mailing list. But all right, Joe, play us out.
Okay. Again, Sean, would they be able to pick up these songs if some way?
Yeah, we're gonna email them out probably closer to this weekend. I've been
Okay.
trying to post it in this group chat, and for some reason, it's just not working. Every time I do it, it says failed. So I don't know what the issue is, but I'll keep trying. But
Okay.
otherwise, you'll get it in an email for sure eventually.
All right, thanks, Sean and Archbishop for being my cameraman. Again, here's something from Disney World, and we had a class this earlier today, and we were talking about this. Thank you all. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you got a little bit about using signature arrangements on each of your models. And if you have any questions, give us a call. We have available those models too for sale, just to let you know. Thanks. Bye.
Good job, Joe. Good job.
Good job. Thank you. Thank you. Great job.